Alright, welcome back to the channel. Surprised I posted again? Me too. Anyways, today we're going to be breaking down the UT Austin application. So my name is Freddie, and if you haven't watched my last video, which you should, you would know that I'm an incoming freshman at the University of Texas at Austin. I'm going to be double majoring in computer science and business as part of a special dual degrees honors program, and today I'm going to be giving you my top secret tips and tricks of how to apply, and honestly just information that I would have wanted to know when I was applying this time last year. So depending on how fast I edit this video, the application should have been open for around 2 to 3 weeks. So without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright, it's been a while since I've actually looked at anything college related, but currently I'm looking at the page with all the information regarding how to apply to UT Austin, and I'm honestly just going to go from top to bottom and share my insight as we go along. Alright, starting with required application materials. Right off the bat, something I noticed this year is that UT actually is accepting the Common Application. Essentially, in the US, there are two main ways of applying to colleges, the Common App and the Coalition. Only a couple of other schools actually have their own application, like MIT, the University of California, and some others that are skipping my mind right now, but a vast majority of schools will accept either the Common App or the Coalition. So when I actually applied to UT last year, they only accepted the Coalition and something called Applied Texas. So since I applied to my other schools that aren't UT using the Common App, I actually ended up using Applied Texas to apply to UT. But this year, since they're suddenly accepting the Common App, I would have just used that to apply instead of starting a whole new application with Applied Texas. You might wonder, well, what's the difference? In terms of results, I honestly don't think there is a difference between the two applications. I think the admissions offices will consider both the Common App and Applied Texas with equal weight. But in terms of how easy the application is to use, I would definitely suggest Common App over Applied Texas. It overall just has a better interface and it doesn't lose your work. Okay, story time. Last year when I was using Applied Texas and I was entering my activities in my activities section, I didn't realize that you have to scroll all the way to the bottom and press submit for all the information to save. And I'm stupid and I didn't write them anywhere else on like a Google Doc. So when I went to the next page and closed out the tab, all the information was lost and I was sad. Anyways, that's why I recommend applying through the Common App because it saves your work automatically and you don't have to write activity descriptions for another hour that you've already written before. Okay, application fee, pretty self-explanatory. Essay. Okay, so this is going to be your main long essay, and if we actually take a look at the prompt, here, it's actually pretty broad. Unique opportunities or challenges encompasses honestly a pretty broad spectrum of what you can talk about. I would say the key takeaway from this prompt is how these things have shaped who you are today. You do not want to leave this out. Don't just talk about how you've had fun or learned a lot from a sports team, an orchestra, or summer job. You want to show how these experiences have shaped you. A really broad overall structure could be, what were you like before in middle school or early on in high school? What happened to you in high school that had a big impact on you? And what are you like now because of what happened to you, because of these experiences? In the end, the admissions officers are just trying to get a feel for who you are as a person. And this prompt honestly gives a lot of free rein on how to present yourself by displaying how you've grown throughout the years. Okay, more essays. These are short answers. Let's see what's required. Okay, honestly, these answers are limited to no more than 40 lines, and typically the length of one paragraph is pretty BS. I'm pretty sure the only thing that matters is that it's around 250 to 300 words. I think a couple of mine actually went over 300 words, so I'm pretty sure this is pretty flexible. Okay, so the first question is your typical why major question. I'll attach a couple of videos and articles that help me write my why major essay, but the good thing about this prompt is that once you've written this essay, you can pretty much use it for as many colleges as you want. Obviously, you'll have to edit the word count and some of the content depending on which college you're actually applying to, but the overall structure can be copied over. Alright, prompt 2 is a really long prompt, but what it's essentially asking is, what did you do in high school that can transfer over to UT? So my quick and easy tip for this prompt is choose one activity, job, extracurricular, whatever, that you really liked and really enjoyed doing in high school, explain it, then do some research on how this activity can be carried over to UT and what UT has to offer that connects with this activity that you did in high school. And then explain how whatever skill, inspiration, insight that you gain from this activity can be applied at UT. And make sure to be pretty specific about it, because I secretly think that AOs are looking for people who did their research on UT and are really excited about the opportunities that UT has to offer. Okay, this third prompt. The core purpose of UT is to transfer lives for the benefit of society. Okay, if I'm going to be honest, I really don't like this prompt. I get that they want their future students to be already thinking about social impact in their future, but honestly, as a senior in high school, do you really know how you're going to transform the future of society and change lives? Because I didn't. Anyways, rant aside, my tip for this prompt is to again choose a specific activity or thing that you did in high school and actually connect this with your major and some of your interests that relate to your major. And then finally, just explain how this passion for engineering or for literature or whatever can actually help change the world. And it can honestly be whatever. It doesn't have to be helping impoverished children gain better education. It could just be being a teacher or doing more community service in some area or another. Okay, so it looks like this year they actually made this COVID prompt optional. Funny story, when I applied last year, it was required, and I didn't know until the week or two before the application was due. So I scrambled together something pretty random, if I'm going to be honest, and just submitted it. But I am glad that they are making this optional this year, and again, my advice for this prompt, as you probably know, is that if it didn't affect you in some significant or outlandish way, I honestly wouldn't write anything for this prompt. Alright, moving along. Okay, your high school transcript. I'm not sure how other schools do this, but for us, we actually had to submit our application first and then request to have our transcript sent over to UT. I think it was some weird thing that was like, if you hadn't submitted already, UT didn't have a file for you, so if you tried to submit your transcript, then it wouldn't have anywhere to go and it would be lost. Anyways, just make sure to go to your guidance counselor or whoever is helping you with college applications at your school, and I'm sure they'll get it figured out for you. And I assume the procedure is pretty similar with a college transcript. Okay, I think I'm gonna skip this section just because I don't think it will apply to a lot of people, but if you do have a question about this section, just drop a comment down below, or honestly just Google it and you'll probably find an answer. Okay, now we get to the fun part, standardized testing. Okay, once again, they're not required, but let me share my thoughts about that. Okay, so since UT is a large public school, they probably receive tens of thousands of applications each year. And even though they say and they claim that they do a holistic review where they look at everyone's essays, their resume, whatever, I honestly don't think that's the case. There's simply way too many applications going through the system for each admissions officer to take time and read all the essays and transcripts and short answers and just everything. Well, how do you filter through applications? Well, it would be hard to do that through an essay or an activity description because those are qualitative and it's difficult for an algorithm or something to predict how well an applicant is ranked only through their essays. But rather, a lot of filtering is done through GPA, rank, and obviously standardized testing scores. So here's just a breakdown I will give you. If you feel that the test score is a bad representation of you, then don't submit it. Say you received mostly A's and A minuses in high school with occasional B, but for some reason you completely bombed your SAT. In that case, the SAT would poorly reflect your academic capability as a student, and I think you shouldn't submit it. And vice versa, if you struggled in classes and tests throughout high school, but you were pretty good at the SAT and got a decent score, and it reflects you well as a student, then I would say go ahead and submit it. And if you're on the fence about it, meaning the SAT or ACT score that you got was, I guess, pretty similar to how you performed as a student, I would still say that you should submit it. I personally believe that it helps more than it hurts, but again, that's just my opinion. I'm just a person on the internet, don't listen to me. But one important thing is that if you are submitting the SAT or ACT, make sure to send it directly from your testing center or college board or whatever directly to UT. I know some schools do it where you can self-report your scores, but for UT, they want to have it sent directly to them. And keep in mind that it actually takes a couple of days for the SAT score to be sent to UT. I actually had a friend who sent it basically the day he applied, but it took too long and actually arrived the day after the deadline is for the SAT score to be considered for his application. So he didn't get his SAT onto his file, and if I remember correctly, it was pretty good. So just make sure to plan ahead and send it in before the deadline, and don't leave everything last minute. Alright, cool. Chugging along. So we have the expanded resume now, and I actually think this is one of the most fun parts of applying. I used a template online and I customized it, added my own colors and flair to it, and it was pretty fun. But basically the breakdown is I would personally lean towards submitting the resume. And keep in mind that this isn't a job resume where it should only be 1 or 2 pages and condensed down. Actually, they want it to be as extended as possible, hence the name expanded resume. With the resume I submitted, I put down basically everything that I did in high school over the 4 years, and it ended up being actually, I think, 6 or 7 pages long. So moral of the story, don't be afraid of adding as much information as you want onto this expanded resume. Okay, we're at the bottom. Letters of recommendation is the last thing. Surprise, surprise, I also recommend submitting this. Here's the thing, it's actually really unlikely that a letter of rec can actually hurt you. Of course, some letters can be better than others, but in the end, it gives the AOs an opportunity to see you from a different perspective. And if you think about it, your teachers and counselors actually do want to talk about your strengths. They don't want to badmouth you, I guess unless you were a really bad student. Anyways, a quick tip I have is to actually get a letter of rec from a mentor from a club or a supervisor at a job or someone just outside of school. I personally got a letter of rec from my supervisor at an internship I did the summer before, and I think it was a really nice addition because it provided a unique perspective on my character and work ethic in a professional workspace. So in conclusion, you're probably going to need letters of rec for your other applications, so you might as well just submit it to UT as well. Alright, so you're done with your application. Congratulations. After I submitted, I think it took a day or 2 for me to get my portal, and they sent an email to me. So just make sure you regularly check your email and make your portal as soon as they tell you to. Oh shoot, I need to talk about deadlines. I probably should have gone over this first, but essentially UT has 2 deadlines, a priority and a regular. And as you can see, the priority is on November 1st and the regular is on December 1st. I'm just gonna keep it nice and simple. Apply priority. Unless there's some special situation where you physically can't apply by November 1st, please apply priority. They say it doesn't matter and has no real effect on admissions, but I secretly think it does. I don't have any data to support this, but just from what I've heard around the block and from some experience talking with other people, I do think applying priority does help your chances of getting in comparison to doing regular. And applying priority can also help you get your decision quicker, which might lay off some stress on other decisions. I personally got my decision in the middle of December, but I had friends who actually got theirs in the middle of November, so legit weeks after they applied. So applying priority does also help you get your decision sooner, and yeah, overall I just think it's beneficial and I don't see why you wouldn't. Alright, now that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned at least something from my endless rambles. If you're gonna be a senior in the fall, good luck on college apps. It's a grind, but it'll pay off in the end. And if you're a junior, sophomore, freshman, or even earlier than that, I don't know why you're watching, come back in a couple years. Anyways, let me know if I should make more college application related videos. I know that when I was applying, I wish I could have had this video to help me with the UT application, and I'm more than happy to make more to help those of y'all who are about to apply in the fall this year. School is starting soon. I move in about a week. This summer went by way too fast, but I'll try my best again to make videos during my freshman year. I think it's really a thing that I'm interested in and want to explore further. Alright, so with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.